Hello, YouTube. This is my first voiceover attempt on one of my videos. Yeah, I figured I had this Yeti microphone for a long time, so I figured it'd be a good time to voice over this video this time instead of just uploading a kind of speed what are they called? Like speed runs? Anyway, so yes, this is me stitching this moon and mushroom embroidery piece. This one kind of knocked me on my butt. It was very tedious for me. I think what made it difficult was that I'm stitching this on linen fabric, which is kind of a looser weave fabric. Well, at least the type that I have, it's kind of a looser fabric, but I like it because it has this nice texture. However, it's kind of a butt to do this detailed of stitching that I like to do. After I made this or completed it, I kind of decided to take a little break from embroidery for a bit, and so yeah, I'm kind of dabbling in other mediums now, but I do plan on coming back to embroidery probably sooner than I'm thinking, but anyway, so yeah, here I am moving on to the mushroom part. I hope I get better at this voiceover stuff as time goes on. I do plan on making more YouTube videos because I do want to share my artwork throughout the internet. Yeah, and I'll share wherever else I am down in the description below, as well as probably at the end of this video there'll probably be some links. I don't know. I'm still getting the hang of YouTube. It's kind of intimidating to me, to be honest, being on YouTube. I've been doing some TikToks here and there, and doing voiceovers on TikTok is like I'll make the voiceover and then I'll hate it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with this. I should probably not. I should probably carry on to talk about this art piece, but I honestly don't really know what else to talk about because this is such a tedious technique of artwork making. I kind of see embroidery as more, I don't know, more like a medium than like a, its own thing. Like I never really sat and like practiced a lot of stitches. Like I know how to do French knots, I know how to do split stitches and satin stitches, which I guess I'm kind of doing a satin stitch. It's just more of like a, I don't know, I kind of treat the thread as if it was like a pencil coloring. Does that make sense? So like I do tend to think about the directions of the thread, because sometimes like that it's important to kind of, well, depending, but it's not, I guess it's not important. I don't know what wording I'm trying to say here, but it's good to think about the direction of the thread that's going in, so like for here, I think I decided to do the top of the mushroom, going sideways, and then once I move to the stem, you'll see that it's going up and down, and that just kind of helps separate those elements. I also feel like it kind of makes it feel more like an artwork piece than like, my grandma stitched this. Nothing, not to offend the embroidery community or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out, I suppose. Part of me wishes that instead of going the top of the mushroom, I kind of wish I did go up and down with the stitch. I think because you can kind of see the bottom of the mushroom here, and it kind of, because like normally I try to make the bottom of mushrooms. I tend to stitch mushrooms a lot. It's kind of my thing right now, but I'll get into that. But yeah, I tend to do the bottom of the mushrooms like kind of more like with the gills, if they have gills. Usually they do, just because I like to add gills to all my mushrooms. But I've been researching mushrooms, and apparently they all don't have gills. They kind of have like spongy. Anyway, getting sidetracked. But yeah, I kind of wish I'd made the top half go up and down so that way I could separate the gills. Is this interesting? Is this fun to listen to? Or is this, I don't know, knowledge that anybody is finding? Anyway. So yeah, mushrooms have kind of been my obsession recently. I don't know what happened. I think it's I know when it started. It kind of started around the same time that I discovered embroidery. It was back when I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the pandemic hit. That was fun. No, sorry. I discovered embroidery during the pandemic. I just kind of needed a way to like chill out, and I really like working with textiles. Like I kind of like whenever I'm drawing, like I draw normally, like I'm an illustrator, and so like sometimes drawing just isn't enough. Like my hands, like I always say this thing that like my hands have this itch to like work with more tactile things, but I don't like working with clay. So clay just it's too much of a mess. But for me with clay, and I just don't have the patience for clay, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, and I was walking around Walmart, and the Walmart that was near me was kind of a nice one. Well, I guess it wasn't nice, but it was it had a nice variety of like crafts in the craft section, and I had no idea that Walmart had like embroidery stuff. And I just kept eyeing it, and it was super cheap, so I was like, why not? And I was really, really, really poor at the time. You can get all this equipment for like less than $10, and by equipment I mean fabric, thread, and the hoop. So yeah, I kind of anyway, I don't know what happened, but I just started drawing mushrooms because it was the only thing I think I could draw during, that traumatic time where the whole world paused and blah blah blah. Same what everybody says about 2020. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of creators kind of struggle to create during that time because of all the S going on. So yeah, and I don't know, my brain was just like would default to mushrooms, and I'm still kind of in that phase. Like I feel like I'm more transitioning into bugs and moths, specifically moths. Yeah, I recently did a painting of a moth, and I've done a few embroidery pieces of moths, and they always seem to do really well, and I like that positive feedback. I tend to respond to that. Of course, duh. So yeah, be prepared to see more moth pieces. So I guess I moved on to the second mushroom here. You're gonna see a lot of gaps in the stitches, and I did go back and kind of fill it in more. I didn't film myself doing it because it was, I don't know, I just didn't see it necessary, and it's not as satisfying looking as probably this little speed stitching is. Oh yeah, in the background you can probably see my laptop because I was watching some recorded streams and podcasts. Anyway, let's get back to the artwork, I guess, and my techniques and whatnot. So yeah, this piece I illustrated on my iPad first, which is normally I think I do most of my embroidery. That might not be true. There's some that I just kind of just draw it onto the fabric and just go with it, but that's usually the more simpler stuff. But this one's slightly more complex. So this one I illustrated first on my iPad, and then I transferred it onto fabric. Oh yeah, I used a fabric pen in white. And I'll show you towards the end of the video, but it will disappear when heat is applied. You can iron it off, or what I did is I used a hairdryer, which will probably be coming up here in the next few minutes, but let's not finish this. And here's the final mushroom. Oh my gosh, we're getting so close to the end. I'm I'm kind of running out of things to talk about, so I'm just gonna let it play for a bit. Enjoy the pretty music, and yeah. Once it gets closer to the end, I'll pop back in and do a little voiceover. So enjoy these last few minutes. I'll see you in a few minutes. Coming close to the end here. Woo! Yeah, so here I'm adding some details, like little marks. Here's the back of it. Ooh, everybody's favorite. Um, oh yeah, and that's me showing that I'm gonna get rid of. This is me getting rid of the drawing that's on the fabric. And I just take my hair dryer here. Make sure it has like a hot setting. I have a smaller hair dryer that I like to use for my artwork, and I just found it wouldn't get hot enough. So yeah, I kind of have to use my actual like hair dryer that I use for my hair. So that way it can, and look, you can watch it just disappear. It's kind of magical, honestly. Kind of have to be a bit thorough because sometimes it's pretty easy. Excuse me. It's pretty easy to miss spots. But yeah, there it is, and look how clean and crisp it is. I had some twinkles to it. I'm really into this idea of that mushrooms, like I'm going to talk about mushrooms for a sec, but I love that mushrooms give off these spores that we can't really see, and so I like to kind of include those in my mushroom pieces. So here's my needle holder, and I grab a needle thread. I just love this little needle holder that I found. I think it's like for toothpicks or something. I found it off of Amazon or Etsy, I don't remember, but and so yeah, this is me finishing the back of it, which I just go through and do, I forget what it's called, the stitch, but it's like just a running stitch. It's running stitch, and then you pull it tight. This is a terrible camera angle, but it was really hard to find a good angle to to show this process. But you just run it through the loose fabric on the end and pull it tight, and it should bunch like that. And I stitch on a felt backing to kind of keep all those loose stitches safe. And here it is hung up on the wall. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I had a lot of fun doing this. Yeah, I plan on doing more videos like this, and if you're interested in this piece or any of my artwork, you can check out the links below. I'll have the link to my shop, and I have a Patreon, and I'm normally more active on Instagram, and yeah, so see you later.